Excuse me for a second.
A little T-Pain break. Welcome to MBA Talk. I'm Tyler Howard, and this is Trevor Sherwood, and we are here to talk about balancing family life with the MBA program. We're in the accelerated program, and we have some question prompts that we're going to be reading off. We don't really know what's on them, so it'll be quite the adventure that we're going on here together.
All right, let's get started.
All right. So have there been any budget cuts you've had to make at home due to tuition costs? And can you give an example?
There's always budget costs when it comes to having to go to school and have a family at home. I have a 1-year-old son, and so doing the program there were some budget cuts that we had to do, more budget management, just being able to realize that with all the extra time that is spent completing the MBA program, that there really wasn't as much time to do the recreational activities anyways. So the movies, the dinners, the fun weekend things, those kind of go to the wayside as you take upon this commitment of doing the MBA program. So those have been easier to deal with because of all the work. Next question here we have is, have you developed or have you already have any weird things you do to handle stress? Can you name one of those?
Yeah, so I've actually thought about this a lot, and I'm like, maybe I shouldn't mention some of this stuff, but so I've been certainly stressed out with the program.
Naturally.
And I've been pushed my limits more than I thought I was capable of, which ultimately ended up being a good thing. But whenever I get really challenged with something or really stressed out, I try to picture myself as a bull, and I just start goring things with my horns.
Nice.
And it kind of creates this mentality that you're like, whatever, get in front of me, and you just kind of get this mentality that whatever comes at you, you're just going to knock down. So I guess that's kind of the analogy.
No, that's good. And, there's plenty of stress when it comes to the MBA program. And I remember over the summer, which is the busiest part for the accelerated program, we would look at some YouTube videos and epic meals and really kind of alleviate some of the stress with some of the humor and fun jokes you can find on YouTube.
Yeah, I think that hits on a really good point, that you start building a kind of camaraderie with your cohort or even with the other cohorts, and you start understanding that, okay, we don't have to be serious all the time. If you get to know each other, you can kind of joke around and get a better idea of everybody's sense of humor, and some levity to the situation definitely adds a lot to the high stress environment that you're sometimes operating in. So.
When you're all in the same group together in the same classes for the entire summer, it makes it a lot easier to de-stress when you're together with other people in the same boat.
Yeah. All right, so since starting the program, how much time have you spent on campus versus at home?
I'd say I spent a good amount of time on campus. Having a little guy running around, I've really had to kind of dedicate my studies to being on campus, just because I get distracted at home. I love playing with Charlie, my little son, and so he's a good distraction at home, but to get the work done, I do, stay extra hours and do my assignments and papers on campus because I had a hard time getting them done at home. So I do spend a good amount of time here.
Yeah, and I think that I spend more time here than I probably would like, but at the same time, when I'm home, I'm with my wife, and I like to spend time with her, so it's hard not to be distracted by, I don't know if it's like distraction or whatever, but it's just, you have to kind of balance. When you're at school, you work, and then when you get home, you try to be present for your family. So I think that's been something that I've had to recognize through the program, is more of a focus on school versus segregating kind of school versus work, I guess, or school versus home time, I guess.
What advice would you give future MBAs who also have a family at home?
I think we spoke about it in one of the previous parts, is just realizing, kind of developing some sort of hierarchy that you understand where your priorities are at, and cutting out those things that are maybe fun, but not necessarily core to what you're trying to, the relationships that you're trying to maintain, and the family life that you're trying to maintain. Because I think that was one of the biggest hurdles for me, was realizing that, you know, I can focus on a few things, but if you start branching out to 10 or 15 things that are important to you on whatever degree they're important to you, then you really stretch yourself really thin. So if you just try to focus that effort, those things kind of fall off at the end.
There's school, there's family, and there's, you know, our free time. The first thing that would have to go when you take on the MBA program is your free time. You know, you don't want to sacrifice the time and the effort on your relationship with your spouse, but you have to be willing to first give up your free time, whether it's the golf or you know, whatever other activities you enjoy. And what I've seen is, if you're willing to do that and you show your spouse that you do want to focus on them when you are at home, they're much more willing to let you go play golf and let you do some of those activities, and they may want to do them with you so that they can have the time with you, and they want you to enjoy your life and not just be stressed out. So I see that as you make that effort, you know, it also is reciprocated by your spouse.
So, if you had a superpower that would help you balance your family and the MBA program better, what would it be?
In the MBA program, time is of the essence. So my superpower would have to just, you know, be able to freeze time and just stop it right there. Take a few extra hours to get the projects done, you know, and then that leaves more time for the wife and my son, and then, you know, what other free activities I enjoy. So I would like to just freeze time every once in a while and get caught back up and get my head back above water.
Yeah, that's that would definitely be a good one. I think cloning myself. I don't know if that's a superpower, because it's kind of possible-ish with sheep and stuff, but yeah, cloning would be nice. Having 4 arms and a couple brains would be nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd take one brain.
Yeah. Reading minds might be another good one.
Nice.
So that I could just know what the professors want. Bam.
Yeah.
And just absorb their knowledge base and just be like, I'm done. You know, super MBA. That'd be my superpower. That would be my superhero name.
That's the new 1 week MBA coming up.
Yeah.
In a few years.
They're just going to tap you into the professor's mind and just download it all. You're going to pay like half the tuition or something, and it's just going to be great. Yeah.
Just wait for that.
Yeah.
Just wait for that.
2030.
There we go. Our next question here, we have, what compromises have you had to make at home because of your schedule here with school?
We don't eat dinner with each other as much, and so being flexible on that, or saying a couple days that you will be home for dinner makes a difference. Consulting with my wife Annie has been instrumental in that, to just say, well, hey, what if I schedule my classes like this, Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, instead of 5 days a week until 8 o'clock or something like that? Like, what if I do that? Will that work better? And just trying to make it more of a collaboration than something that I just say, no, this is what I'm doing, deal with it, you know? So I think just being honest and understanding what my wife wants has made it a lot easier to stay late some nights, because it's known that other nights I'm going to be home. All right, so are there any concepts you have learned in the program that have actually helped in your family life, or our family life? Well, we're not a family, but...
In our individual
right.
family life.
We don't know if we're a family or not. I don't know. Anyways,
yeah. Some things I've learned from the program that I could apply to home. I think a big one is kind of multitasking. We have different classes, different time frames when projects are due, and so really learning to juggle those and balance those in the MBA program is something that I've learned and can apply to my life at home, having a little boy and a wife, and I think that's just really going to be great. All right, if you had 1 hour a day designated for yourself to do whatever you wanted, what would you do?
I don't think that 1 hour would definitely would make a big difference. I mean, like 1 hour, I think even though the MBA program is demanding and work, the home life is demanding, you have an hour to yourself. I mean, you typically do. So I think that it's not as restrictive as that. I think you still get some time to do what you like to do, watch TV or play video games or go to movies. So it's not that restrictive. That's kind of the way I look at it.
Yeah, I would totally agree that the MBA program is not going to fully take over your life. There is time to do things for yourself, and just using that time wisely and understanding that the 1 hour a day is not much, but if it starts going to 4 or 5 hours, then you start sacrificing your quality of your schoolwork and quality of your home life as well.
Yeah, I think I'd be hesitant to say that it's all consuming the MBA program, but there's times when it's very demanding, but it works out. You start understanding how to budget your time, and you start understanding where you need to allocate your time. So at the beginning of the program, maybe an hour was difficult for me because I wasn't very good at time management. But now it's much easier for me to be more focused on my studies, because I know that if I can complete all these projects ahead of time, then I can spend all this time with my family and or on extracurricular kind of activities. So I think that's probably one of the best pieces of advice, that just don't procrastinate. If you're a procrastinator, learn not to, because I'm a procrastinator. So you can get away with it, but the stress that it puts on you is not worth it. So if you can figure out how to just say, I need to get all these things done, look at your schedules, you get the syllabus, right away. So just start working on things and be upfront with your group members that you have a family and you're going to have certain times when you can meet, and people are understanding if you just tell them that, And so if you're upfront about that, with that you have family commitments and that you can meet at these times, people generally speaking are pretty cool about that. All right, and so we're wrapping this up. We got one last question.
Make it a good one.
I'm going to try. So I get to ask you any question that comes to mind. And so I think the question maybe I have is when we first started the accelerated program, was your son Charlie born, or?
Yeah, just a few weeks.
Yeah, so I think maybe just a free-form question of how have your exterior seems so kind of calm and laid back, and how have you managed having a newborn? Because that seems like quite the stressor.
Yeah, I think the key to having a child and balancing your schoolwork with that is really, I have to give all the credit to my wife, really. If you have that companion that's got your back 100%, that wants you to succeed, it makes it a lot easier. Appreciate you joining us here on MBA Talk. I'm Trevor, and
I'm Tyler, and we hope to see you on campus sometime or at alumni events.
Go Vikings!